Chike knelt on the cold ground, his head spinning as he tried to understand what had just happened. His mother's eyes were filled with tears, but she refused to look at him. The entire village stood around, murmuring, whispering, pointing fingers at him. His heart pounded against his chest. "Chike, how could you do this?" His mother's voice trembled. "Mama, I swear I didn't do anything," Chike pleaded. The village elders stood firm, their faces set in stone. "The evidence is too much, Chike. You have stolen from your own family. You have disgraced your father's name." His younger brother, Obinna, stood a few feet away, arms folded, his face unreadable. He had been the one to expose the so-called proof of Chike's crimes. Fake documents, stolen money, missing goods, everything pointed to Chike. Chike turned to Obinna, his eyes desperate. "Obinna, you know me. You know I would never do this. Tell them the truth." Obinna only sighed and shook his head. "The truth is already in front of everyone," he said, his voice calm, but there was something dark in his eyes. The elders gave their final judgment. "Chike, you are no longer worthy of your father's inheritance. Leave this village and never return." Chike felt as if the air had been knocked out of his lungs. His whole life had been spent here. His father's shop, his family, his dreams, all of it was being taken from him because of a lie. His mother did not argue. She only looked away. With no other choice, Chike rose to his feet. He glanced at the villagers' faces, the same people who had once praised him for his hard work. Now they stared at him with disgust. He turned back to Obinna one last time. "I don't know why you're doing this to me," his voice said, shaking. "But one day you will regret it." Then, without another word, Chike walked away from everything he had ever known. As he disappeared into the distance, Obinna watched him, a smile forming on his lips. The throne was now his. Long before Chike's disgrace, things had always been tense between the two brothers. They were raised under the same roof, ate from the same pot, and learned from the same father, but their hearts were different. Chike was hardworking, disciplined, and patient. He spent his days in their father's shop, learning the trade, balancing the accounts, and treating customers with kindness. He had a natural way of making people trust him. Obinna, on the other hand, hated work. He preferred shortcuts. When their father asked him to help in the shop, he would sneak out to gamble with his friends. He often spent his nights at the local bars, drinking and talking big about how one day he would be rich, richer than anyone in the village. Their father saw the differences between them, and it troubled him. "Obinna," he would say, "a man who refuses to work will live to regret it." But Obinna never listened. When their father fell sick, Chike took full responsibility for the shop. He managed everything while still taking care of their father at home. Even on days when the shop was slow, he never complained. He did what needed to be done. Obinna, however, stayed away. He only returned when their father finally passed away. The day of the will reading was the moment everything changed. Their father, knowing Obinna's laziness, left the business in Chike's hand. He gave Obinna a smaller portion, just enough to support himself, but not enough to waste. Obinna had smiled that day, but inside of him, he was furious. That was when the jealousy turned into something darker. He watched as Chike became respected, running the family business successfully, gaining the trust of the village and earning even more than their father. He watched as Chike's life flourished while he remained in the shadow. That was when he decided that Chike had to go. Obinna knew that if he wanted to take everything from Chike, he had to be very careful. He couldn't just walk into their father's shop and demand it. No one would listen to him. He needed a plan. He started small. He began spreading rumors about Chike. At first, they were harmless, just little lies about how Chike was too proud, how he secretly looked down on the villagers. But slowly, the rumors grew. He takes more from the shop than he should, one man whispered. I heard he hides money that doesn't belong to him, another added. Obinna made sure these whispers reached the elders. Then he went further. He knew Chike kept careful records of all the shop earnings. One night, when Chike was at home, taking care of their sick mother, Obinna sneaked into the shop. He broke open the lock and stole a large sum of money. But he didn't keep it for himself. Instead, he hid it in Chike's room. A few days later, when the elders came to investigate the rumors, the evidence was waiting for them. The stolen money, fake receipts, missing goods, it was all there. Chike was called to answer for his crimes. He was shocked and confused. He tried to explain, but the evidence was too much. Obinna played his role well. He pretended to be heartbroken. I never thought my own brother would do this, he said, shaking his head in disappointment. The villagers believed him, and that was how Chike lost everything. Chike wandered the dusty roads, his heart heavy with pain. He had no family, no home, no future. He had never felt so lost. At first, he thought about going to another village, starting afresh, but the weight of betrayal was too much to bear. The anger burned inside him. He slept under trees and begged for food. The same hands that once carried the family name with pride were now dirty and empty. One evening, as he sat outside a trader's shop, watching people go by, an old man approached him. His face was wrinkled with age, his eyes sharp with wisdom. You look like a man who has lost something, the old man said. Chike looked up. He had no energy to speak. The old man sat beside him. When a man is pushed into darkness, he has two choices. He can stay there or he can fight his way back to the light. Chike sighed. I have nothing left. The old man smiled, then built something new. That night, Chike made a decision that he would not let Obinna's betrayal break him. He would rise again, but first he needed a plan. Chike found work in a nearby village, helping an old merchant with his shop. He worked from morning until night, saving every little coin he could. The merchant, a kind man named Babajide, saw the determination in Chike's eyes. You are not like the others, Baba Ade told him one day. You work with the heart of a man who has something to prove. Chike only nodded. He had no time for pity. Months passed, then years. Chike grew stronger and wiser. He learned new business tricks, built connections, and earned the trust of the villagers. One day, Baba Ade called him and said, You have done well for me, more than I expected. It is time for you to have your own shop. With Baba Ade's help, Chike opened a shop even bigger than the one his father had left behind. And soon word spread. Chike was back, and this time he was ready. Back in their village, Obinna was not doing well. He had taken over his father's shop, but he did not have the discipline Chike had. He spent more money than he made. He was careless with the books. He was rude to customers. Slowly, the business began to fail. At first, he tried to cover it up. He borrowed money, lied about the sales, and even stole from the shop's savings. But the truth could not be hidden forever. One day, the elders called for him. They had complaints from too many people. "You are too quick to accuse your brother," one elder said. "But now, look at yourself." Obinna had no excuse. His once proud face now showed fear. He had destroyed the very thing he had fought so hard to steal. And then the final blow came. A trader from the neighboring village arrived bringing news. "Chike has built a new shop. It is bigger than this one, and people are flocking to him." Obinna felt his world crumble. Everything he had done to ruin Chike had been for nothing. The news spread quickly. Chike was successful, he was powerful, and now he was returning. Obinna's heart pounded as he saw his brother's figure approaching the village. Chike walked through the streets with his head held high. He was no longer the broken man who had left years ago. He was stronger and wiser, and he had not forgotten. The villagers whispered as he passed. Some looked ashamed, others looked afraid. Obinna waited for him at their father's old shop. He had to face him, and as Chike stepped through the doorways, their eyes met. The brothers stood in silence. Then Chike finally spoke. "Is this what you wanted, Obinna?" Obinna had no words. Obinna could not find his voice. He had spent years convincing himself that he was the rightful owner of the shop, that Chike had been undeserving. But now, standing before his brother, he felt the weight of his lies pressing down on him. Chike did not look at him with anger. There was no rage in his eyes, no satisfaction in seeing Obinna's downfall. Instead, there was something worse: disappointment. "Everything you took from me, everything you destroyed," Chike said calmly. "Where has it left you?" Obinna swallowed hard. His father's shop, once thriving, was now empty. The shelves were bare. The customers had long disappeared. "I made a mistake," Obinna admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. Chike shook his head. "No, you made many mistakes." The words stung Obinna more than he expected. He looked around the shop he had stolen and saw it for what it really was. Not a prize, not a victory, but a monument to his own greed. The villagers who had once believed his lies were watching from a distance, whispering among themselves. They had once praised him for being the better son. Now they saw him for who he really was. Chike turned to leave. "I did not come for revenge, Obinna," he said, his back turned. "I came to show you that I did not need to betray anyone to succeed." And with that, he walked away. Obinna stood frozen, watching his brother disappear into the crowd. For the first time in years, Obinna felt truly alone. He sat inside the empty shop, staring at the wooden counter where his father used to sit. The memories came rushing back. His father teaching them how to run the business. His mother smiling as she brought them food. Chike always working harder than everyone else. He had ruined it all. The money he had stolen was gone. The respect of the village was lost. Even the men who had once whispered in his favor now avoided his gaze. Obinna had nothing left. He thought about going to Chike asking for forgiveness, but how could he? After everything he had done, for days he sat in his shop, waiting for customers who never came. The silence was unbearable. Then one evening, an elder came to him. "You have brought shame to your family," the man said. "But shame is not the end of a man. What will you do now?" Obinna had no answer. Obinna knew he could not go on like this. He had two choices. He could leave the village and run from his mistakes, or he could stay and try to fix what he had broken. He began by going door to door, apologizing to the villagers he had wronged. Some forgave him, some did not, but he did not stop. Then one day he walked to Chike's new shop. Chike was speaking to a group of traders when he saw his brother approach. The moment was tense. The traders fell silent, watching. Obinna took a deep breath. "I don't deserve your forgiveness, Chike," he said, "but I came to ask for it anyway." Chike studied him for a long time. The village was watching, waiting for his response. Then Chike spoke. "Forgiveness is not something you ask for, Obinna. It's something you prove that you deserve." Obinna nodded. He understood, and so he got to work. Obinna did not expect things to change overnight. The damage he had done could not be undone with a few words, but he still made things right. He started working for small traders, helping them with their goods, earning just enough to survive. He did not ask for handouts. He did not complain. Slowly, people began to notice. Then one evening, Chike visited him. "I have been watching you," Chike said, "and I see that you are trying." Obinna lowered his head. "I don't expect you to forget what I did." Chike sighed. "I won't, but I am willing to give you another chance." Obinna looked up, hope flickering in his eyes. Chike extended his hand. "Come and work with me." Obinna hesitated. Then he took his brother's hand. For the first time in years, they stood together as brothers again. Time passed, and Chike and Obinna rebuilt their relationship. Obinna worked hard, earning the trust of the traders, proving himself not with words but with actions. The village, once divided by their betrayal, saw their reunion as a lesson about greed, a lesson about forgiveness. One evening, as they locked up the shop, Chike turned to his brother. "Do you regret what you did?" Obinna nodded. "Yes, every day." Chike smiled. "Then make sure you never forget it." And with that, they walked home together.